I'm joined by Stephen Bennett. Stephen, how are you doing? Keeping well lately?
Yeah, all good, thanks, Phil.
Good stuff. I was just going through your record in recent years and some of the stuff you've done underage with Watford. All Ireland minor title in 2013, All Ireland under 21 in 2016. So the timing is lovely. An awful lot of you players on those underage teams had a lot of success. So, like, when some people are surprised that you get to an All Ireland semi final, like, the pedigree is there.
Yeah, I suppose, look, we always, we did win stuff underage, yeah, and we always, I suppose, believed that we could win more, but I suppose the jump up to senior isn't as easy as you think, and I suppose coming from Waterford, like when you win something like an All-Ireland semi-minor or under-21, there's a huge deal made of it, as opposed to teams like Tipperary or, the teams that kind of win them a lot, they kind of don't go on about them as much, but it's not as straightforward as, oh yeah, they won one under-21, they go up and win a senior, sure, that's, I guess, like Tipperary, Kilkenny, Corks, like they kind of might bring on 2-3 each year, but like I suppose when we won it, I think there was 15 of us or 16 of us went into the senior straight away. You don't see that that often, like. But no, like I suppose we're come to a stage now where we're all 25, 26, and we need to actually start doing something.
Yeah, and do you feel like this season, like, have things kind of changed a bit this season? Like, I was even looking at your scoring rates; they seem to have jumped up, and it's not like you've been playing easy teams either, Limerick, Cork, and Clare. So you look like you're a team that has a real scoring threat this year.
Yeah, I suppose we've been scoring a bit. Yeah, don't know what does the crowd, I suppose, not being there. A lot of the games kind of more. I suppose you're not as tense. You're not as there are more scores. Even in the soccer, you see membership. There seems to be more goals. But no, we're definitely, I suppose, trying to kind of go for a lot more kind of attack. I suppose Liam and Mikey and Stephen, in fairness, are trying to get us to don't run out to the sides, kind of run towards goal. Keep going and kind of just attack. Don't make honest mistakes, as they say.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And how impressed were you with the team in that win over Clare? Played quite well yourself.
Yeah, I suppose we played well. In fairness, we ran it and we got a good start with the 2 goals. But I suppose again we need to look at after the water break, we left in a goal in the 18th and the 20th minute, which if we do that on Saturday, we won't have a chance. But I suppose again, it like the pitch actually kind of suited us. I think we had a lot of good lads like Jack Pinder, Jack Fagan, Desi, the likes of them runners, that I think the open space actually suited them. I think we got a bit better at using space, hitting space a bit better. So we kind of we got lads involved in the game more.
I interviewed your dad there 5 years ago. Obviously played with Watford back in the 80s, and presume he was your manager with Ballysaggart there in the past few years at some point, was he?
He was in the junior, I'd say, a couple of years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't it in
Would he have told you much about playing for Watford back in the 80s?
Not really, to be honest with you. We don't talk a whole pile about it, to be honest. We'd always they were kind of, I think they lost a good few games too, so I think it was kind of like who lost by the most really the last 2 or 3 years. So no, it is nice. I suppose we weren't really around when we were seeing him playing, so
yeah,
we don't know what he was like.
Yeah, and when I interviewed him that time, it was just before you played Cork in an under-21 match at Páirc Uí Rinn, and it was like your brother Shane had to rush from a leaving cert and change in the car, and he ended up scoring 1-4 against Cork, cool as a breeze. Whereas he was saying he was really calm, and he said about you, if that was Stephen, he would have been a little different. If he was the one coming up, he'd have everything sorted and be a bit more organised. So are you very different sort of players? I know Shane isn't involved at the moment.
Yeah, I suppose so. I suppose first of all, I'd probably cared a bit more about the leaving cert. Shane wouldn't have bothered. He probably wouldn't have said it if he'd have choice. But no, in fairness to him, he doesn't get bothered by games. He doesn't get bothered by anything really, to be honest with you. He's working now as an electrician, and he's delighted with that. And he just took, I suppose, he did a good job for the club last year. We got to the Munster final. I remember that game actually that he came up and up to Páirc Uí Rinn, and he just when he's relaxed, he's as good as what's there. So no, he was very good, yeah.
Yeah. And like your 2 brothers played in that final, the All Ireland final in 2017 against Galway. Now you had played that season. You weren't involved that day. Were you on the panel that day? I didn't have the programme to check.
Yeah, I was, yeah. It was a funny one. I think Kieran made his debut in an All-Ireland semi-final, then he's made his second game in an All-Ireland final. But I suppose the joke in the house is that actually he scored a goal before I did in the championship, and I had the team with 6 years before him. Well, no, sorry, not before him. He's on it with about 4 years now. I'm on it with 7. but it's not great for your wing back brother scoring a championship goal before you know. So I was glad to get that off my back last
year. It was a fairly skittery one though, wasn't it?
It was actually. Shane, I suppose, got in the way, but sure, look, they count. You go to them, I don't get left off with it too easily.
And what are your memories of that day? Were you frustrated not getting on that day, or?
Yeah, I suppose, look, any fella that says he's not frustrated not to come on, any game is going to be lined, because you train and you go to matches because you want to play. I suppose, especially in All-Ireland final, I warmed up a good few times, but I suppose it's disappointing near the end, but not coming on. But we have a chance now Saturday to get back to one, so hopefully big games in us now on Saturday.
Yeah, and do you feel like this is the season that you've really begun to establish yourself? Like, it probably took you a little bit longer, and your dad mentioned you'd had hip problems at an earlier stage.
Yeah, I was out for a couple of years. I got the hips operated on when I was 17, then I got two of them done again at 20. So I suppose I was missing a lot of pre-seasons. I don't know that I didn't do many the first kind of maybe 4 or 5 years. You're always kind of playing catch up then, But no, the last 2-3 years now I've been lucky, in fairness. Touch wood, I've been injury free, and like I went back October time, for next year, and it does make a huge difference. When you're playing with 3 months catch up, it is hard to get back in. But no, exactly. I suppose it's just nice to be I think since last year and this year I've played every game. So it's just nice to be kind of constantly playing, kind of being stuck with. So when you play good, you're still playing next game. When you play bad, you're still playing the next game. It does give you a bit of confidence, But it also helps now that we're winning a game or two.
Yeah, but like those couple of years where you weren't winning games, Derek's last year and Pádraig Fanning's year, how tough was it on you to not be winning games, and especially having gotten to a final in 2017?
Yeah, it's bleak enough, I suppose, to be honest with you. As we're saying, it's kind of like when you're losing a game or two, we couldn't have ever been that bad, Like, a lot of the team is the same. You couldn't have been, like, losing by 5 or 6 points fine, but, like, we were losing some of them by 20, 25 points, which is ridiculous. A good club team wouldn't lose by that much. So, I suppose when you're negative, when you're playing with no confidence, you're not going to be attacking, you're not going to be going for scores, you're not going to be enjoying training as much, because you're thinking what's going to happen to us next weekend. But then when that turns in, like when you win a game or two, put a few good performances together, you're confident, fellas are happy going training, they all want to be involved, and they're kind of pushing each other. So it definitely helps. It's nice to kind of get back to, I suppose, competing properly,
Yeah, and that game against Cork, the Munster semi-final this year, how pleasing was it to actually get that monkey off your back to get a championship win again?
Yeah, I suppose there was no one actually mention of it, like trying to win a game, but then afterwards there was a couple of us talking, and they're kind of thinking, Jesus, great to actually win a championship match again, isn't it? It's kind of, that's gone now, like, So it's nice to just be able to park it and not have this thing, you haven't won in 2 years. That's gone now, like, that's done. So it's nice, exactly, just to go in. I suppose we were disappointed in our performance in the Munster final, but it was nice to kind of put a few good games competing together,
Yeah, and the Munster final against Limerick, I suppose the downside is you lost the game, but the upside is Limerick have been hammering an awful lot of teams, and you were level with them going, into the second water break, the second half. So for your confidence,
sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, for your confidence in the team that you are and what you're building, that must have been big.
Yeah, I suppose the fact that when you're back Cork and then you realise, okay, we're still in this game, but then it was a Munster final, like, we didn't win it. I suppose Liam Cahill spent the whole week telling us we're going to win the game. If we're in it with 15 minutes to go at the water break, we're going to win the game. And then we look at the score, we were 18-17 up, I think 18 all at the water break.
Yeah.
And too many of us didn't stand up really, I suppose. Limerick kind of got on top for the 5 minutes, I feel, after the water break, since near the end, go in a couple of scores up, and we were only chasing it then for the last 5 minutes. But in fairness to them, it just kind of shows their team. They brought on a few subs, and straight away I think Shane Flanagan got a point. Then Breen came in and got a point. It just shows the importance. I suppose the one positive is last week, I think our sub scored 5 points, which is brilliant. Even coming on from doing that for a few years, it's a tough place to be when you're not playing, but like hurling has gone early. Like, I suppose rugby at this stage, there's starters and finishers. That even however good you're playing or not playing, their players are going to be taken off with 10 minutes, 15 minutes to go for fresh legs. But when you have subs that are coming in and they're actually contributing, you're going to be in there with a chance.
What has Liam Cahill been like since he's come in? Because one of my, as a Tipperary man, I would have watched him a lot with the underage teams when he had so much success. And one of my favourite quotes ever was when he said, on the radio, you know, there'd been parents giving out about their Johnny and whatever not being picked for the team, and he said my job is to not send soft hurlers up the line. So I just wonder, is that what he's like in the dressing room, that he demands from you?
Yeah, and fairness is actually a lovely fella. Fellas, I don't know what people actually think, but like, he's tough, alright. His training is good. What I like is they don't care. They hate going like backwards. They hate going out to the side. They hate not going for it. They don't mind if you give a bad pass, but you try to give a good, like, honest mistakes. I think they say honest mistake. They don't care about that. Like, so when you're actually trying, when you're going, all they want you to do is just go for goal. Like, not go for goal, but go towards the goal. Like, if you're a cornerback, they want you to take on your man and run. Give it to the next fella. They want you, if you're a forward, to get the ball and run. Like, they don't understand. You could score a point and think in training and think you did well, and then they're like, what are you doing? Like, there was a fella there, you should have ran in here, do you know? So they're constantly kind of improving. It's just changing our mindsets, I suppose, to you know, just attacking more.
Yeah, and Mikey Beavens would have terrorised my home club, Bursley, playing for Tumivara for many years. He's an inside forward. Liam Cahill played in the forwards for Tip initially anyway. Are they very forward focused, scoring focused? Because that's what I see. And like, in their 4 years, the last 4 years underage with Tip, 47 championship goals is what they managed. Incredible.
Yeah, I suppose there must be something in it, the fact that the two more forwards. I suppose you don't really get management teams that were corner forwards all like a lot, like, I don't know. So they but I think they're kind of attack minded everywhere. Like, they want the goalkeeper to be offering from side, like, attacking. They want the cornerbacks, they want the wing backs to be running. They don't mind if a wing back runs up the field and goes for to look for a ball, you know. They kind of want us to defend together, but then they want everyone attacking, like, you know. They like Ty coming from the backs and just going, like, and they don't actually care if you just bunch or trying to get them. So no, I suppose it's enjoyable. Like, it's took a bit of getting used to, you know, getting the ball and every time just having to go, you know. But I think we're kind of slowly getting into it. We have an awful lot to improve. Because even we got a grand score against Clare the other day, but looking back on the videos, then the amount of times you'd have the ball and not know that there's a fella running there, or there's a fella there, there's an extra pass. So I think, like, we got 3 goals, but I think we could have got an awful lot more if we clicked better, you know. So I think we can definitely improve on that aspect of it.
Yeah, because when I was doing a review afterwards, I was praising you, but there's a few times I thought you could have laid on a goal here or whatever. But but it does seem like you're a team that are enjoying it. Even the way you're talking, it sounds like you're buzzing and enjoying it.
Yeah, sure. As I was saying, like, I suppose there's a few new lads as well that kind of fresh up, you know, like Jack Faig and Desi, Jack Pender's really playing well, you know, and like, they're really good runners as well, which just helps that you always have options, you know. You'll always have, they can run up and down the field, and no, exactly, like, there's a lot of competition in the panel, and in fairness to the boys, the management team, like, you could come on one game and then not play again, and then you could come on, they could have a total new set of subs the next game. So everyone kind of has to be on their toes, because they actually would play anyone. If they see someone going well in training, they'll actually throw them in at the weekend, like, you know. They don't need you to be performing, having a big name to get you in, which I suppose it kind of gives people belief when there's new fellas coming in, that, okay, if I try drive on and train, I'm going to get my chance, you know. And you've seen that with a few lads, like, you know, Billy Power, Kieran Corwin, like the likes of them that are coming in and making an impact, you know. Darrell Lyons, and a lot of new lads being brought on from what they're showing in training, and when they're training well and they're excited, you know, and everyone is kind of pushing each other on, it's going to help.
And then just one final question: how much are you looking forward to this All-Ireland semi-final against Kilkenny, and do you think you can do it?
Yeah, hugely. Like, as I was saying there before, that, like, we didn't win the Munster, so that's one cup gone. We didn't win, well, the league wasn't really out of our control, but we've one cup left, like, and the only way we can win it is to win the semi-finals, you know. So it's like, look, it's Kilkenny up in Croke Park, is going to be very tough, but I think we have enough in us if we all click, if we play well, you know. If we go at them, like, we know that they've got a couple of players that can look, they're probably some of the best players that ever played the game. But no, we definitely feel that we have enough in us that if we just, the 20 lads that'll get on the field, if we just kind of attack them and keep things tight, that we can get into a final again.
Okay, well, best of luck in that match, and appreciate you chatting to me, Stephen.
Thanks, Will. Thank you.